guys, how are you? I'm Bruna. I'm your Turkish series summary channel. And if you like this type of content, do not forget to leave your like and subscribe to our channel if not subscribed. I did this for the video.
The episode begins with Hancer and Sila arriving at the company. Sila then commented to Hancer that she would leave him alone and that she would let him know before she left the house. However, Hancer does not agree with this and insists on taking La to the company, saying that today he would help La Mukader. In turn, went to the park where Deria wanted to be and left the bracelets for her. Deria took the bracelets gratefully. When Hancer and Sela entered the room, Sela exclaimed that the environment was beautiful, much like the chief's room. Hancer also called it the chief's office. Sela, curious, asked him if the boss had not treated her badly, and Hancer replied that his goal was only to tire him out and make him lose his job. Meanwhile, Seyhan was leaving the mansion when Beysa commented that she had hired a new driver. Siran, not knowing what to ask her, replied that it was not really a chauffeur, but someone he trusted, and called his brother, and then left. Siren, in turn, entered Siren's room and took the key to the old house. Beysa, who saw her, asked what she was doing there, even with an evasive tone, replied that she would not give explanations, and left. Claiming to have more important things to do, Beysa became suspicious of his intentions. Meanwhile, Hancer and Sila were still working in the room when Siram's assistant appeared and told Hancer that Siram was waiting for him downstairs. Hancer went to Siram and Dagger. Upon finding it, Lo asked what had happened. Sirhan, with a slight irony, commented that he thought Dagger hadn't eaten breakfast. Dagger, for his part, said he would enjoy the meal and return to work, but Sirhan asked him to sit down. He wanted to discuss some matters while they ate breakfast. Even though they didn't like each other, Sirhan stated that they would talk for the good of the foundation. Dagger agreed, saying that if it was to benefit the foundation, then they were willing to talk. Sishan explained that he needed to organize a charity night for the foundation. Dagger, a little skeptical, said it would be impossible to prepare for this in such a short time, but Sishan insisted they would make it happen. Thank you very much, Dagger. I'll get back to work now, but I won't let your support go to waste, Sim said, motioning Dagger to sit down. Hancer, who was listening to the conversation, realized that there was still more to be discussed. Meanwhile, Seynem arrived at the old house with the intention of finding out if Melih and Hancer were really married. She began to examine the place for clues. When he finds himself in front of Hancer's room, he thinks to himself that if he finds his belongings there, that would mean Main was telling the truth. However, at that moment, Benza arrives if at the time he had been told that, as president of the foundation, he would need to make certain sacrifices. He would have to hand over all his assets on donation day to keep the foundation alive and convince people. Dagger silently awaits an answer from Siram. Siram then comments that it was difficult to give up everything. Hancer, for his part, says that if that were the case, he would have acted differently during the divorce. Siram, in turn. She replies that the old Dagger is no longer in front of her and suggests that perhaps he should question her husband. Dagger also adds that the other person whose consent he needs to get if Ram curiously asks, who would that person be? Dagger describes him as someone very close to him, but at the same time very distant. If Ram is impatient, He says he doesn't have time for jokes. At that moment, the assistant appears saying that Scylla caused a scene and needs their attention. Immediately Dagger and Girhan go to the door, and Scylla explains that she mistook him for someone else and threw something at his head. Dagger, puzzled, asks the reason for such an attitude. Scylla responds defiantly so that he does not try to escape. The man in turn said he will file a complaint against Scylla. Engin intervenes, saying, "This girl is a little out of control between let's talk." Everyone enters the house. At that moment, Beyza and Sinem leave. Beyza, surprised, asks what he was doing there. Sinem, trying to justify, says he dropped a hair clip and went to see if it was there. Beyza, suspicious, questions, could not invent a more convincing lie if not without knowing what to say, just answers, "Go there and see for yourself." Beyza enters and Sinem follows her, closing the door behind her, when Beyza asks her to open the door and not tell anyone anything. Sinem finally gives in and opens the door. After Beyza leaves, Sinem accompanies her. As for Dagger, he wonders if Scylla really compared her to the man who cheated him. He claims, "You should have told me." He also adds that Scylla would have fled if he had known the truth. At this point, Sishan arrives at them and asks Scylla to leave Dagger, deciding to intervene, says she will stay with him. Sisham then reveals that there is a problem at the front of his company. Dagger, not wanting to get involved, says he just thought the man looked like someone else. Siren eventually addresses Scylla, saying she has a dark side, and questions what is her real problem. Ranza finally asks Scylla to go to Angin's room. "So I told Siren, I don't really know you. Actually, I'm still trying to figure out what kind of person you are." He asked, "How do you see your justice?" Sihan also told me that I am exactly what I appear to be after the support you gave there. Ichen Hancer, I finally saw the man I fell in love with. But the hatred you carry is so strong that you have become the enemy of everyone around me. He said if Hans still told him to investigate Scylla's problem and help her, but without approaching us. Rancer replied that he didn't have to worry, that he would help everyone. He left the room saying he was donating all his assets to the foundation. Rancer went to Engin and Scylla together. They found a solution for Scylla now. Scylla would take Engin's place. Furthermore, Engin would go after the man who had deceived Scylla. She agreed to that too. After that, they always went home together. Rancer commented that Sihan asked me to make a donation to the foundation. Melih asked what he intended to donate. Hancer replied that Sihan had suggested it on my behalf and wanted me to donate the house and shares in. Jim commented that Sihan actually wanted to do it anyway. He wants to get you out of the company and out of the house. Melih asked him to think about it. Dagger and I can live without them, he said, and I will forgive them. Later, Andin and Scylla returned home. Andin asked for Scylla's gun. When she refused to hand it over, Andin took her purse and ordered her to go to his room. At that moment, Melih commented that the donation made by Hancer did not attract him at all. "All of this is your son's right," he said. Dagger responded by saying that Sirhan would try to take everything from them and maybe even fall in love with his own son. Melih said she understood, but she didn't want the house to be given away. Dagger then told him that maybe this was the right thing to do. People gathered at the mansion and announced that they would hold a night of donations for the Besa and Mukader Foundation. They said they wouldn't make any donations as long as Hancer was present. That night seemed not to be made for Dagger, and so Dagger declared that he would donate all his possessions.
And if you liked this video, do not forget to leave your like and subscribe to our channel if you are not already subscribed. Thanks for watching until the next video.